16 months ago, he hoisted the Super Bowl trophy as the game's MVP. 16 months ago, he was the most celebrated man in all of Philadelphia, the quarterback who led the Eagles to the top of the football world. Dismantling the Kansas City Chiefs in a final Philadelphia had waited decades to experience. And now, in the same environment that crowned him, the question circulating behind the scenes of the organization, through the corridors of the specialized media, and among executives at other franchises, is one nobody would have expected to be asked this soon. Is 2026 the year this quarterback's future in Philadelphia finally gets decided once and for all? How can a Super Bowl MVP get this close to the edge this quickly? And what does that reveal about the reality of playing the most scrutinized position in American sports? This may be the most consequential season an Eagles quarterback has experienced since Carson Wentz sat in that exact same seat, and understanding why puts you ahead of anyone just reacting to headlines. But first, if you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what comes next exposes, without any filter, the real tension between the biggest name in Philadelphia's offense and the franchise he represents. To understand the full weight of this situation, you need to know what is being said publicly and what is being said privately. ESPN published a detailed report from reporters Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler, who spoke to more than a dozen sources to pull back the curtain on what is happening behind the smiles and the official statements. And the picture that emerges is of an organization that gave its quarterback the largest contract in franchise history, 5 years, $255 million, and that now, in the middle of a disappointing season and a trade involving the team's best wide receiver, is evaluating with cold eyes what comes next. That quarterback is Jalen Hurts. Heading into 2026, Hurts has 3 years remaining on the contract he signed in April of 2023. But the detail other franchise executives are watching closely is this: there is very little guaranteed money left in the deal beyond $22 million set for 2027. After the 2026 season, the Eagles could part ways with Hurts in a way that makes financial sense. And according to ESPN sources, they would not be the first team in the league to consider that scenario. To understand why this conversation even exists, you need to revisit what happened during the 2025 season. The Eagles won the NFC East, but were eliminated by the San Francisco 49ers in the wildcard round at home. And what happened with the offense across those 18 weeks was difficult to watch for any Philadelphia fan. The team finished among the bottom 10 in the NFL in passing yards per game, with just 194.3 yards through the air per contest. It finished in the bottom half of the league in points per game, at 22.3. It racked up 53 and-out drives across the season, tying for the most in the NFL. And over the final 9 games of the regular season, including the wild-card loss, Hurts posted a negative expected points added mark of negative 11.1 on dropbacks, according to Next Gen Stats. For a quarterback who had won Super Bowl MVP just 13 months earlier, the drop was sharp and visible. ESPN revealed that part of the internal frustration was directed at Hurts himself, including from A.J. Brown, whose relationship with the quarterback had been tested over their years together in Philadelphia, and who was traded to the New England Patriots before training camp in 2026. The question that stings the most in this entire discussion is the following: how much of the responsibility for these failures actually belongs to Hurts? ESPN wrote that close observers point to a lack of creativity and synergy in the Eagles' attack, that the passing game was not always properly tied to the running game, and that there was a level of predictability that allowed opposing defenses to anticipate what was coming. And here is what is most revealing. Multiple sources inside the organization said Hurts had a hand in the offense becoming calcified. This is not the narrative of a quarterback who was abandoned by his scheme. It is the narrative of a quarterback who needs to grow as a leader and decision-maker, and for whom 2026 is the moment to prove it. The comparison to Carson Wentz hangs over this entire conversation. The Eagles signed Wentz to a massive extension and, shortly afterward, decided to move on, handing the job directly to Hurts. This organization has a track record of acting decisively when it senses a piece is no longer producing at the level the investment demands. But there is another side to this story, and it starts with Jeffrey Lurie. The Eagles owner has been public in his support for Hurts, saying there is no bigger fan of the quarterback than himself. Lurie pointed out that Hurts was Super Bowl MVP, that he should have been MVP of the February 2023 Super Bowl as well, and described the quarterback as exceptional and dedicated. But in the same breath in which he defended Hurts, Lurie admitted that the 2025 offense was not what we were either accustomed to or expectant of. It is a statement of support that carries, embedded within it, a clear acknowledgement that the standard was not met. And that is exactly the kind of environment that creates maximum pressure on a quarterback entering a season with his contract on the line. One AFC executive told ESPN he could see a world where the Eagles move on from Hurts after 2026 if the offense disappoints again. The assessment was direct. Hurts is a polarizing player, and as his mobility begins to decline with age, the value of the position declines along with it. Howie Roseman has always been proactive about finding solutions, and the solution the organization is betting on for this season is named Sean Mannion. The new offensive coordinator, brought in to replace the fired Kevin Patullo, is installing a scheme inspired by the Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay coaching tree. With more under-center snaps than Hurts has ever played in his entire career, more play action, more pre-snap motion, and route concepts that demand faster reads and decisions made in tighter time windows from the quarterback. It is the biggest technical change Hurts has faced since entering the league, and at the same time, it is exactly the kind of system that could unlock the best version of him if the adjustment works. Mannion has publicly said he is comfortable with Hurts' ability to adapt, describing him as the type of player who can execute whatever system is put in front of him. And a source inside the organization said Hurts is as open to change as he has ever been in his entire career. He himself was more vocal with his teammates late in 2025, a sign of growth that did not go unnoticed inside the locker room. Here is the bottom line. Jalen Hurts enters 2026 in a position no quarterback wants to occupy. A Super Bowl champion 16 months ago, already being evaluated in terms of long-term fit, with A.J. Brown traded away, a new scheme to learn, and $22 million in contract guarantees expiring after the season. Every game, every drive, and every decision is going to carry weight that goes far beyond the scoreboard. If the offense returns to the level Philadelphia expects, creative, efficient, properly connected to what Saquon Barkley and the tight ends do in the run game, the conversation about Hurts' future is going to disappear, and a new contract could come together quickly. But if the same problems from 2025 resurface in 2026, the franchise that moved on from Carson Wentz right after signing his extension is going to face a difficult decision ahead. 16 months after winning Super Bowl MVP, with 3 years remaining on his contract, a new scheme ahead of him, and the most scrutinized offense of the Sirianni era, the question left for you, Eagles fan, is direct. Do you believe Jalen Hurts is going to silence every critic with a dominant season in 2026, or is the end of his cycle in Philadelphia closer than anyone wants to admit? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.